Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today we are in Lewiston, Idaho. Lewiston, Idaho is one of those gym communities that's hidden across the United States. You might not ever have heard of it, but did you realize that there's an actual ocean-going port in Idaho? What? Ocean-going port? Are you crazy? Yeah. You can actually get ocean-going vessels, i.e. ships that were in the Pacific Ocean, and you can sail them up the Columbia River, listen to some loud trucks going by, sail them up the Columbia and onto somewhere they connect to the Clearwater. And there's a bunch of dams, but there's actually a lock system like the Panama Canal. And you could get ships from the ocean all the way to Idaho. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, did you really care about that? No, but it's actually a real neat little tidbit. But what I'm here to talk about, let me adjust the camera just a bit, is Lewiston, Idaho is actually a place to visit. Now, there's lots of places in Idaho where people from the east, someone in Florida said, "You're going to Idaho? Why?" It's actually really pretty here. Lewiston, Idaho, it's surrounded by this whole volcanic landscape, but it's been around long enough for the grasses have grown up and everything. This place is a super popular place for catching steelhead. What are steelhead? Steelhead are trout that are bigger than 14 inches, right? Something like that, yeah. So steelhead fishing is a major industry here because, at least for the outdoors and outdoor recreation types, because steelhead are really aggressive fish. So boy, when they catch that line, your pole goes, "Look!" Now, of course, is that like ocean fish? Nope. But you don't have to have a big boat to go get them. Ah, yes, that's right. So you have the opportunity to go fishing and enjoy the outdoors here. So interestingly, you think of Idaho, you think of potatoes, stock, russet potatoes, no big deal. But in fact, there's a lot more to offer here. I visited, my grandfather lives here in Lewiston, Idaho, and really enjoy the place. So I've been up here quite a few times where I know my way around pretty well. And I'm down here in downtown, or they might call it Old Town Lewiston. And maybe when we started coming up here 15, 20 years ago, the Old Town was toast. I mean, just the place wasn't happening. Lots of stores were dead. Things weren't really happening. But over the years, and I don't know how the economic recession went here, but over the years, the town has really, really changed its character. Where the Old Town now, I mean, you look around, there are a couple of open shops, but it used to be that the town here, maybe 80 or 90% of the shops in downtown were totally vacant. I mean, there was nothing going on. Now there's like this cool children's store, there's a second-hand thrift store, an antique shop. I'm just looking down the way. There's a church. Right behind is a theater. Let's see what else they got going. There's a couple of restaurants and cafes. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, right over there. So there's actually a lot of stuff going on downtown Lewiston. Interestingly, I was just over in Boise. I've actually got another video about Boise, and you can check that out in my channel if you subscribe. But Boise downtown's a much more large-scale, what you'd call a city. Lewiston has that quaint feel because there are only about 32,000 people who live here, and you think, oh, geez, that's not really that's not really a town, that's not really a city, but it's actually super easy to get around. I mean, the only time there's real traffic is on Brighton Canyon Road at like 5 o'clock. I mean, traffic is a relative term here. People say, "Oh, traffic's horrible." Like, go to downtown LA at 5 o'clock on Friday. I'll tell you what traffic is like. Whew. But instead, you come here, and it's so easy living. I mean, the climate's real interesting because even though you're in the Rocky Mountain region, Lewiston is between 600 and 700 feet elevation. It's actually pretty crazy. Oops, better block those people. They probably don't want to be on my YouTube video. But imagine that, even though you're in the Rocky Mountains, here you're only at 600 feet elevation. So the weather is actually really temperate here, which makes it super nice. Now the job market, I'm not sure of because the average age in Lewiston is about 41 years old. Okay, good. You're ruining my video, people. The average age is about 40, 41 years here, so it's a little bit older, and I was in a place called Tri-State Outfitters. They're one of the sporting goods and outdoor stores, and they were talking about how the city council and people were speaking about, oh, I just saw an accident. People got distracted. Nobody got killed. So, we're gonna see what's gonna happen there. Oh gosh. If I was pointing my camera that way, I could have caught the wreck. Jeez. Distracting. Car wreck. That was a car wreck. Yep, nobody got hurt, but definitely not good. So Lewiston was talking about becoming a retirement community, and I wouldn't say it's already on its way, but it's definitely older than the average community, which makes things a little bit slower. If you want to come to a movie theater here, the last showings are 7:30. So if you want to catch a late night showing, the late night showing is 7 o'clock. So it's pretty darn funny. Hey, here, come over here, Grandpa. So, okay, we're gonna have a little featurette. So come over here and stand right here. Nope, don't hurt your leg. So step back about 5 feet. Okay, so this is, we're gonna have a little cameo here. This is my grandfather. So just look in the camera right there. So tell us your name.
Roy Takita.
Right, and how long you lived here?
Oh my God.
20 years?
Not that. Yeah, let's put it there.
Yeah, and let's see, you worked in Jackson at the Word Hotel?
Right.
Right, so, and you came to Lewiston because of the easy climate and weather?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, so the climate and weather here, like, totally nice. I mean, much more livable. It's starting to get early October, and it's a little bit chilly, but how much snow do you get here?
Not too much.
No, I mean, the snow here really isn't all that intense at all. I mean, up in the hills, there's a little bit, just, like maybe a little dusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad?
Not too bad.
No. And how old are you? Do you remember?
91.
91. Yeah, he was born in 1926, and he was in the internment camps during World War II, right?
Right.
And which location did you end up in?
Lewiston, Idaho, you mean here?
No, when you were in camp? Where were you?
In Arizona. Poston, Arizona.
Yeah. So Roy Takita, he was here, and he came here after retirement, worked for, was it 35 years?
Right.
At the Word Hotel?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then he went to come here to retire, but during World War II, he was part of the Japanese internment. It was at Order 9066. And where did you originally live? Was it in Indio or somewhere?
Indio, California.
Yeah. So he went through that, went through the war, became a real successful accountant in one of the most popular hotels in the West. Heck yeah! Did you know your picture's up in that hotel?
No.
Yeah. Oh, he's famous. Yeah, you go to the Ward Hotel and go in the hallway. They have the sign that says the four that made this place famous, and your picture is there.
Oh.
You're more famous than you know, Grandpa.
Right.
All right, do you want to go back down and relax there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to wear them out. If I'm lucky enough to live till I'm 92, that would be pretty amazing. Yeah, so Lewiston, I mean, it's definitely a good place for the retired type age folks, but even the young kids here, I mean, there's a pretty vibrant population of young folks here, that even though the average age is older. There's the Lewis and Clark State College over in a town called Clarkston. So check this out. I'm in a town called Lewiston, or a city, and then across the Snake River is a town called Clarkston. Now, if you're real sharp on history, what does that mean? Lewis and Clark, hello! That's right. So Lewis and Clark supposedly, I don't know, maybe supposedly or did, came through this region as they were heading towards the Columbia River to finish out their early 1800s, 1801 to 1803 or thereabouts expedition. And I'll see if I can I'll make a video about the Lewis and Clark Park here, but This is actually a real big piece of history. There's lots of locations in here. Hell's Gate, Hell's Canyon? Yeah, Hell's Canyon. So actually, if you think I'm just popping up with all these cool tidbits, but you think the deepest canyon in America, in the lower 48, or in the world? I don't know. In at least the lower 48 states is Grand Canyon, you were wrong. No. In Idaho, they have the deepest canyon in the lower 48 states. It was at 7,000 feet? Yeah, so it's actually 7,000 feet, so it's almost a mile and a half. Now, it's not like the Grand Canyon where you sit and you got sheer walls, but when you take one of those jet boat rides up to the dam here, those hills roll off. But it's actually a mile and a half elevation change. So actually that one of the deepest canyons in the world, and definitely the deepest canyon in the lower 48 is in Idaho. Go figure. Nobody, like, how come they're in the record books? I'm telling you now, this is where it is. So come here and you can fish. It's a totally cool place. I'll do a couple more videos here, and you think, oh, lava, it's not Hawaii, man. It's this beautiful grassland. It's called the Palouse. And this whole region is super special. Nobody's ever figured out why, at least so the information at the visitor center say, but for the Palouse region of Idaho in this area where Oregon, Idaho, Washington, they all intersect, this region here, I don't know how many 100 square miles, but it has the highest productivity of winter wheat in the entire world, apparently. And so nobody knows why that is. It's over twice as productive as anywhere else. So just imagine you think Idaho, but actually the wheat products and everything here are crazy. And I just read in the Lewiston paper today that there is a new pulping mill where and I know this sounds super exciting, but this is actually a big deal. Stay with me here for a minute. So apparently this pulping mill has figured out, along with some Washington State research scientists, how to convert the stalk of the wheat, instead of just throwing it away and burning it and filling up landfills. They've actually figured out how to recycle that and convert it into rough paper products for cardboard and such. So totally cool. So now all of a sudden this region's not just wheat and older folks and potatoes. They're actually got science going here, so totally cool. Highly recommend to check it out. If you've never been through Lewiston, it's a little bit of a ways to get to. You got to drive from Missoula down a canyon, and there's all sorts of stuff. But it is a totally interesting place to go to. Of course. Hey, check it out. Sure enough, there is an ocean-going vessel in Washington State, and we're not talking on the coast. We are hundreds of miles inland. We're just across the river from Idaho. This is an ocean-going vessel, the National Geographic Quest. Bum, bum, bum. And sure enough, this vessel has made it all the way from the ocean, through the locks and all the different dams along the Columbia and Clearwater and Snake Rivers, all the way up to Washington and Idaho. How cool is that? They can actually bring smaller ocean-going vessels all the way here. See, I told you, you didn't believe me, that you can get an ocean-going boat all the way to Idaho. This is like so convenient because I'm looking for Lewis and Clark stuff. And now we'll look here. Found out from the security guy that this boat is headed for Portland, but yeah, that's right, Idaho to Portland via water. And then a lot of times this particular boat goes around Costa Rica and such with a National Geographic and Lindblad expedition. So there you go, ocean going in Idaho. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. If you ever have the chance to come check out Lewiston and Clarkston, Idaho, highly recommended. Please like and comment on my video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.